Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Battlemaster Coast back again to talk with you about another franchise very dear to me. That's right, guys, Transformers. Now, I know that there's a new movie coming out, but it's not just because of that I'm making this video. I've been a fan of Beast Wars since I was a little kid. Little Padawan, Coast grew up watching Beast Wars in the late 90s and all of its glorious late 90s CGI. And it was a real treat to watch that show, to grow up just in time for that show. But I'm just really glad that the Beast Wars era is really kind of getting the recognition it deserves, because when it first came out and they were trying this new idea, it wasn't that popular with the old generation. But even a lot of older fans eventually warmed up to it. But the main reason I'm such a Transformers fan today is because of the Beast era, how it revolutionized the toys and the Transformers brand with all of its new ideas. So, I mean, they were just going crazy and trying everything in the 90s back then. So what Beast Wars represented was basically a silver age of Transformers, a second burst of creativity for Hasbro and Takara. And even though some G1 people felt it was a little too different and too divergent from the originals, a lot of them came to accept it as part of the normal continuity. So it may be just me, but I like the type of story that explores the next generation, man, and characters learn how to come into their own in the shadow of another person, in the shadow of legends. They grow into their own, and in some cases, they even supersede them. So, the basic premise of Beast Wars is there are two ships, well, it basically starts with two ships that crash land on a mysterious planet that is not named at first. But hint, hint, wink, wink, it's Earth. They crash land their ships, they take on forms of the life that is on there. The planet strangely has two moons, so that's a mystery to figure out. And they are fighting over resources, over basically the same stuff that happened in G1, but with a twist. There's an alien race involved that is kind of playing with both factions, like they're little hamsters in a cage, and it's just messing with them. It has all of these puzzles and experiments laid out throughout the planet, and they stumble upon them and they engage in them during their battles and all of that. So there's a lot going on in the Beast Wars. The Beast Wars was kicked off by a rogue Cybertronian named Megatron, who's head of the Predacons, which are descended from the ancient Decepticons, and Optimus Primal, who leads the other faction, the Maximals, who are descended from the ancient Autobots. And the two factions, the Autobots and Decepticons, apparently went through a great upgrade. They mentioned it several times during the show. And it apparently maximized, see what I did there? Maximized their fuel efficiency and minimized their size. But not to the point where they're as small as Minicons. But it maximized their fuel efficiency so that they basically don't require as much energon, but they still run on energon. And anyway, this show gets really deep. And that's one of the reasons why I love late 90s cartoons, is because they weren't afraid to go there. They weren't afraid to go in a risque kind of direction, but not risky enough where it's like, okay, like, we need to take you from the TV, little boy. Like, characters die in this show. Characters fall in love in this show. There's humanity in it. Human development is shown in the show because it's prehistoric Earth. There's time travel, advanced concepts that they weren't afraid to put out there. Advanced story concepts like time travel, alien experiment. Even though they are aliens, the other alien race is called the Vok. But it's just really interesting, and the characters that they develop, and then their deaths feel like they have weight. This is war, and you can't forget the impact that a war has. And there's actual stakes, even though they don't tell you at first, but there's actual stakes in this fight between the Maximals and Predacons. If, you know, since they're way back in time, they start figuring out that, wait a minute, I can alter the course of history, screw everything up for the other side. But anyway, I'm an avid fan of this show. It seems like it was geared towards pre-teens and teens, maybe around 10 to 15, but really it could be generally enjoyed by anyone. And I feel like that's what a lot of modern shows lack. So this is me just rambling about the Beast Wars and what was so good about them. I mean, I own all 3 seasons of this show on DVD for that sweet, sweet nostalgia, but it really added to the lore and depth of Transformers. I feel like if it weren't for the Beast Wars, Transformers would have faded earlier. It would have just been another fad of the 80s that faded out into obscurity, and it didn't live on into the next generation. It didn't change and evolve for the next generation. And I feel as though G1 is like if we're making comparisons, G1 of Transformers is like the original Star Trek, and then Beast Wars was like Star Trek The Next Generation or Deep Space Nine. It pays homage to the original while still being its own thing. It wasn't afraid to be its own thing. And that's what I really loved about it. And speaking of Star Trek, in fact, the whole reason why they're in Earth, prehistoric Earth, is because their mode of transportation for their ships is transwarp technology, which basically warps space and time. So it's comparable to a warp drive. That's just something that I thought about, but it bends space and time, and so it flung them back millions of years to the time of their ancestors. And eventually they figure out, like, yo, like, we can actually change the course of history. And that's kind of what guides the entirety of late season 2, early season 3, which is when things really pick up. I mean, they had so many ideas going on that they were trying to fit into this show. They had the transmetals, which I basically dub like Super Saiyan transformations, except you can't really turn it off. It's like a permanent upgrade. They have the transmetal forms. They have the back in the day they had the freaking fusors, which are basically like 2 animals they just fused together. I still remember the commercials from when I was younger. It was so sick. It was so sick. But anyway, I'm super ecstatic that the Beast Wars characters are finally getting recognition. I've been seeing the re-released Beast Wars figures. I've seen the debates as to whether or not this new movie is within the Bayverse or not, and I've seen the trailer using Biggie's music, which is okay. But man, I mean, honestly, I feel as though I might just see it just because I love the Beast Wars, and because it's a really big part of me growing up, and these characters are really cool. But I just hope, I don't like the new thing that they're doing by having both of them fighting like on the same side. You know, it just kind of takes away from the Beast Wars being its own thing. Having Optimus Prime and Primal fight on the same team, because it's always going to feel like one is supposed to be a leader and the other one is just kind of relegated to a background character when you know that he's supposed to be a leader. So I mean, I'm gonna see the movie, but I mean, I know that Hollywood is on its woke nonsense lately, but like, I'm gonna hold out hope that it's going to be decent. I'm going to keep an open mind with this, because I know that they wanted to try a whole new approach to the Transformers movie, and basically Hasbro is flip-flopping on whether or not it's canon. I saw a bunch of debates on whether or not it's canon to the Bayverse movies or if it's a new timeline. And they should just come out and say it. Fans respect you if you're honest. Like, how have companies not figured this out by now? How have they not figured out that, oh man, maybe if I'm honest with my customer that buys my product, maybe maybe they might trust us more. Maybe they might be willing to I don't know, chip in and give us money. Like, maybe they might respect our company more. Maybe our brand image might not be so tarnished. But, you know, that's just common sense. I mean, it's not so common anymore. But yeah, they've been banking on old school Beast Wars fans from the 90s. They've had coming through and chipping in money. And not gonna lie, I was super hyped to actually find out the rumors about Optimus Primal being in this one were real. I hope it does justice to the original Beast Wars series, because we've been seeing Beast Wars figures. We've seen the original line of Beast Wars figures re-released. That original 1996 line re-released, redone, and out in stores, which is cool. And on top of that, with the Transformers Legacy line, I think it's the Legacy line, they've been going back. It's basically like Transformers Generations. They've been doing figures that have not been released yet, like Jaxus. They've done that, and they've also done Beast Wars figures that kind of were wonky, and I have a couple actually, and Beast Wars figures that just weren't released right, or maybe the release had problems, and they're re-releasing Beast Wars figures in the Legacy line as well. So it's really cool. And Hasbro Pulse, in terms of like keeping track of like what the fans want, I feel as though they're getting it more and more. Because Transformers is Hasbro's baby. You know, without Transformers, it's like, who really cares? Like, you have Mr. Potato Head, right? But, you know, I guess they have My Little Pony going for them, but, you know, Transformers is the bread and butter. And Monopoly, I guess. But it's been really wild seeing Beast Wars reintroduced and introduced to a new generation. I hope people like the new movie. I don't know if I'll like the new movie, but I'll give it a try. New Transformers movie coming out. Hopefully I can get in theaters to go see it, but the way I've been so swamped with everything, who knows? I'll probably write a review of the movie once I do see it, but my expectations are very high. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna set my expectations too high, because I know how Hollywood is now. Now all these corporations, they're on their ESG or DEI, and they want everyone to be diverse and this and that, and they have all these weird standards. Like I saw one clip from Transformers where one Transformer was literally talking about his pronouns. I'm like, bro.
My pronouns are they, them.
Thanks. I'm Sam. I'm she, they.
Anyway. So anyway, guys, this is my entire Beast era collection right now. Well, not my entire, but like most of it. I even have some of the remakes, like this one. This is a recent redo, because the original was pretty terrible, and I don't want my collection to go down like that. So, I mean, honestly, it's up to me, really. I have all 3 seasons of Beast Wars, season 1, 2, 3. Beast Machines, the complete series, even though that show had 2 seasons. But yeah, this is an example of like the remade or re-released version of the Beast Wars figures. This is my Beast Machines collection. So yeah, the Beast era was really, really, really innovative in what they had thought up for the Transformers series. And it really breathed new life into the saga. This is why I love it. Transmetal 2, all these different ideas, the Fusors, fusing 2 different animals together. It's pretty cool stuff. But yeah, I even have like some other figures that I got from a convention. This is an RC that I got from a convention. Yeah, I got this from HasCon way back in like 2017. So yeah, I've got a pretty decent collection. I wouldn't say that I'm like the mega collector that has everything, but it's a pretty decent collection for what I'm passionate about. And that's mainly the Beast era. As for the canonicity of this movie, I really feel as though if they're going to do a reboot, they shouldn't do it half-assed, and they shouldn't go like, oh, well, maybe this is kind of a Bayverse movie because you dumb... Like, I hate it when corporations think that their consumers are stupid. Like, we've been following this franchise for, like, at least 20 years. You know, some of us. At least the people that are going to see this movie have been following it for at least 20 years. I hate it when they do that. They did the same thing with Star Wars. Like, oh, well, they're dumb. They won't know the difference. This stupid consumer, ha ha ha. Like, we'll just, you know, do this and pump your franchise full of the message. The message TM. But I really hope that, well, I was hoping that if they did a Beast Wars movie, that it would be similar to the show. That if they were going to reboot Transformers, that the Beast Wars would be kind of a prequel to the Transformers. Because I wasn't sure if the new Bumblebee movie was taking place in a new timeline, like what was going on, like why they insist on having the Transformers land in the modern day and not like a million years ago when they were supposed to in the original show. So, I mean, it would have made so much more sense to have the Beast Wars be their separate thing and not have the two eras collide. It's like George said, there's the conflict of two Georges. I don't know how many people watch Seinfeld, but it's gonna be kind of weird to see both of them on screen for me personally. I mean, it's gonna be cool to see Optimus Primal on screen. I mean, they could probably reboot it in the future, but the Beast Wars was supposed to be totally separate. It was supposed to be Optimus Primal going through time to defend the past against people that want to destroy it and conquer history, I guess. Screw up the timeline. So I believe that it would have been better if it was similar to the show, where Optimus Primal and his crew of Maximals are going against the Predacons in the Beast Wars, just similar to the show. I mean, it just made more sense in the show, but I mean, I get that they're trying to do their things, they're trying to have a new approach, but that's just the thing that makes more sense. I guess they're trying to spice it up a little bit, but that's just what made sense for me. I mean, like, why are they in beast mode when they have, you know what I'm saying? They have people that in the 21st century, when they have people that are, or they have other Cybertronians that are in the forms of trucks and stuff like that. I don't know, man. It just taking that the concept of the Beast Wars is supposed to be like, okay, they're all animals and stuff like that, and instead of trucks, instead of vehicles, instead of all this other stuff, we're doing something new. That was the Beast Wars. Now it's like, okay, we want to squeeze them in with something old, and it's just, personally, it kind of rubs me the wrong way, but I'll go and see this movie, Rise of the Beast. I'll see it, and then I'll deliver my final verdict on it. Before people come and start trashing the movie, I will give you guys my opinion on it, my official opinion. I will let you guys know whether or not it's trash. Alright, this is Battlemaster Kos signing off. Check out my new Beast Wars inspired fan designed shirts. I will be selling them on my Teespring page, TeePublic page, because Teespring, for whatever reason, closed my account and just decided not to reopen it. Alright, check it out. Links in the description. God bless and take it easy. Peace out.